All right, all right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So today is chapter 13, Law of the Picture. Let's get right into it. People do what people say. Don't do as I say, do as I do. Now, this isn't the original saying, right? The original saying is do as I say, not as I do. Now, why is that? Why do as you say, but not as you do? What is it that you do that I shouldn't be doing? Right? And sometimes it's a boss, right? Someone who's above us in a position at work, in our field of work, or even a family member, a parent, right? Someone that's older. Do as I say, not as I do. Why shouldn't I do what you do? Right? So I changed it around. Don't do as I say, do as I do. Right? Because again, people do what people see. And within the chapter, John C. Maxwell talks about easy company, right? And this was a soldier group back in World War II. And throughout this group of soldiers, you had examples of bad leadership, and you also had examples of great leadership. So you can see right here just a brief little summary of who Easy Company was and what they did within World War II. And we know the outcome of the war, but there were different outcomes in the battles the soldiers faced amongst each other. So let's go ahead and dive into those. So Herbert Sobel and Lieutenant Dyke. Now, these are two men that John C. Maxwell, not John C. Maxwell, right? Because again, this is happening in real life, and this was brothers Brotherhood. I'm saying the name of the book wrong, where it told the life experiences of these men during the World War II. Now, John C. Maxwell in this book just referred to that. So again, he highlights these men as being the bad examples when it comes to leadership. So both of these men were leaders in their fields. Just I'm sure in your field of work, you have some people who are in these leadership positions when they themselves are not really leaders. So now the men who had to follow them would say they are far from their titles, right? Sobo and Dak would ask of things from their men that they wouldn't do or couldn't do themselves. Now, sometimes that right there can be very frustrating. Um, and as an employee, working with other people, or again, even dealing with family members, being asked to do certain things or be a certain way when that person themselves can't do it or don't act as such. When things go tough, they will take a walk and then uh, we're nowhere to be found, right? So in times of battle, these leaders, right, when the things got tough, they will disappear. They will disappear. There'll be nowhere to be found, right? So when the help is needed, the leadership is needed. Where are you, right? And the times when it's needed, and that right there is not cool. And again, these type of things, these situations are very frustrating. Sometimes it feels like it's an uphill battle, and it makes not going to work, right? It makes not wanting to go to work. It's not fun being there in that place of work when you have leaders who are like this. So a bad picture, right? Again, this is what these two leaders were painting for their soldiers, for the men that were following them. And one night Sobel wanted to teach a lesson to his men, so he went into their campgrounds and stole their rifles. He stole the rifles to teach them a lesson, right? Because they were miserable soldiers, according to him. Little for him to come to find out that the night before he raided the wrong camp. So he wasn't even stealing the guns from the right soldiers. He stole from a whole other company called the Fox Company. Right. The next morning, he's berating his soldiers, yelling at them, and telling them how miserable they are. And as he's doing that, he has the Fox Company and their lieutenant come and tell him, "Hey, what the hell's going on? You stole our guns, our rifles." So the whole time, his soldiers had the rifles. So after that, his soldiers began to mock him and undermine him till he was then removed from his position. Now, in a couple of the places I've worked, I've seen some of the things happen where these leaders lose the trust, right, of their followers, of the people they're supposed to be leading, and before you know it, they are soon replaced. Now, Dick Winters. Now, this is an example of the opposite, right? This is a great picture, a great leader. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. His soldiers have been quoted countless times saying how much of a great leader he was. Again, in the beginning, people do what people see, and he led by his actions, not his words. That is the biggest separator between him and the horrible leaders. And same thing applies to you, right? In your leadership position, whether you're a parent or a boss, right? You have employees underneath you. Uh, People will follow what you do more than what you say, right? So we want to point leadership in the right way, and that's making the picture come alive, right, to those that we're leading. Leaders are stewards of the vision. Vision without action achieves nothing. Explaining the vision is not enough. As a leader, you must also live out the vision. Practice what you preach. You are setting the example for better or for worse. We can afford to be uncertain, but we cannot afford to be unclear. So I want to go back up to this really quick. As a leader, you must also live out the vision. Practice what you preach. And that's just absolutely true, right? Again, we ourselves can't be demanding something from other people or expecting things from other people if we are not expecting that from ourselves, right? You can expect things from other people if you are not expecting that from yourself, right? Whether it's certain attitude, behavior, whatever it is, don't expect things from other people before you expect that certain thing from yourself first. Insights for leadership. Number one, followers are always watching what you do. Children learn more from what they see than from anything else. Followers may doubt what their leaders say, but they believe what they do. So again, actions really, and this goes back again. Vision without action achieves nothing. You can go ahead and tell people to do a certain thing, act a certain way, but if they see you doing the opposite, uh, we're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So again, followers may doubt what their leaders say, but they believe what they do. So check what you do because people are definitely doing the same thing. Number two, it's easier to teach what's right than to do what's right. Do as I say, not as I do. That is not what we want to do, right? We want to eliminate this quote and change it, right? Do as I do, not as I say. That's what I should have put the first time around. I don't know why I created the first quote, but that's what we should say, right? Instead of do as I say, it should say do as I do, not as I say. Follow my actions, not my words. Or even then, right? Because if our actions are aligning with everything else, then that means our words are as well. But again, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. As a leader, we must raise our living to the ways of our teachings. So again, that all just falls back onto practicing what you preach. Nothing is more convincing than living out what you say you believe. Practice what you preach, right? These are things that we need to drill within the mindset. So this becomes muscle memory, and it's all just habit, right? Number three, change yourself before anyone else. Act as a change agent. Now, this is something that's been sticking out to me a lot. And it's been different words we can say for that, right? Change agent, impact agent, uh, and a couple other things I'm having a brain fart right now. But act as a change agent, right? And we are agents as such, right? Or impact agent, making an impact on people's lives. But this right here is changing yourself before others. So again, before we demand anything from someone else, make sure you demand those same things from yourself. Standards should be higher for you than anyone else. These things are hard, but it is essential. This none of this is easy to do, right? None of it is easy to do. Same thing, I'm sure, when you first started your work, whatever it was, the first day, right? It wasn't easy, but the more days you stuck to it, the easier it then becomes. So again, same thing with this. These things are hard, but it is essential. Be an example. Leadership is more caught than it is taught. Leadership is more caught than it is taught. Meaning, again, people are going to see what you do more than you trying to teach what to do. Learn from good models because at the end of the day, not all influence is good influence. So whoever it is that you're following, you want to make sure the things that are sticking to you, the things that are being taught, are something that will be of a good influence, not a bad one. Now here is take action for you. Create a list of things you wish people around you or those on your team, that's a typo, we're doing better. Now go work on those things yourself first, right? Because again, before we demand things from other people, we need to demand those exact same things from ourselves first. So thank you for tuning in. Next week, we'll be going over chapter 14. See you guys there. Peace.